Yeah, hello all. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. A very good afternoon to all of you, and thank you so much for joining this session. I will just share my slide. Okay, so I am Sohail Sayed. I am sure most of the people know me, but I am the founder owner of Inception Solutions. Okay, and I'll just take you through the agenda first. So this is our agenda. It's a it's a packed agenda, so we don't have much time. So I will try to go fast on the uh, our offerings and all that, so that you can see the actual demo of AWS serverless architecture. So just I'll be taking you through Inception solution offerings, cloud basics about cloud concepts and journey of cloud, introduction to serverless architecture, and then Mohsin will take you on these four AWS services, which is S3, Lambda, DynamoDB, API Gateway, which will be needed for the live demo of deployment of serverless architecture, which we are going to show it to you over here. So let me start with okay. I highlights of Inception Solutions. We founded this company in 2012, primarily focused on IT infrastructure solutions. Okay, we have partnerships with leaders in the industry. Okay, up till now we have about 500 plus customers in the last 10 years, and we have a good sales and support team. Moving on to the next slide, these are our offerings. We have five different SBUs. Okay, I'll be talking about four SBUs in this slide, which is where we are into hardware solutions. We offer desktop, laptops, workstations, server, storage, hyper converged. Okay, which we are tied up. We have partnerships with the likes of Dell, HP, and Lenovo for offering this. Network solutions, we are into routers and switches, wireless solutions, structured cabling, passive, that is SD-WAN, and we have worked with a lot of projects on with Cisco, Aruba, and dealing. Software solutions, Microsoft licenses, M365, Adobe licenses, your AutoCAD licenses. We provide those licenses. We implement micro solution, M365 solution, migration of emails from different vendors to M365. Uh, Various projects we have done on that. The next is views cybersecurity, NHA, basically your perimeter security, endpoint protection solutions like antivirus solutions, encryption and data leak prevention, backup and HR. Okay, we in security we work majorly with Sophos, Fortinet, SonicWall, Palo Alto, and for HA we have Veeam Software, Veritas, and Comscope. So let's come to why we have. I'm going to take some basics. So here, some of the people who have joined would like to know basics. Also, is what we understood. So I'm just going to go through basics of cloud computing and the evolution, and then hand it over to Mohsin. So basically, what is cloud computing? Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. So earlier we used to buy, set up the IT in our own premises. We have a server room or a data center, and we buy things and we build that. We've been doing this, but as cloud computing has come in, cloud computing is just giving you all the service of compute, storage, okay, and database on demand as you require, and that is what is cloud computing. So what type of cloud are there? So we have three types of clouds basically: public cloud, private cloud, and a mix of two, which is hybrid cloud. So public cloud essentially is provided by companies like Amazon Web Services, AWS, Azure, Microsoft Azure, and Google GCP, Google Cloud Platform. Now, private cloud is nothing but your on-premise IT infrastructure, right? So you have your own data center on your own infra. That is a private cloud, and hybrid is a mix of private and public. So as we go on, you will see what customers are doing. But I would like to just put in one point over here is that A lot of customers are currently on hybrid cloud. That means they come to a decision which particular applications they would want to be on premise and which application they want to be on cloud, and that depends on a lot of consultations even from AWS experts like us. uh, Even Mosin is involved in certain customers where we talk about which application can be migrated and which you need to be on premise. So that's hybrid cloud. There are certain other cloud which is community cloud, which I'm not mentioned over here, which is basically where a particular company is giving certain cloud services to a set of companies, like set of banks or set of small manufacturing companies. So that is called as community cloud. So that's about what are the types of cloud. So let's understand, okay, how the cloud evolved. So a classic enterprise, which we had before cloud, okay, where these are the things which is there in our IT enterprise, in a company where the IT department. So we have infrastructure hardware, we have server storage. We are going to talk about the data center, not about the endpoints. And so infrastructure hardware, server storage is what is there, the networking, routers, switches, load balancers, okay, security, firewall. So you have these three are the prime equipment which is required. You have your firewall, which is where your ISP is connected. From this firewall, you have your switch connected, your router connected if router is required, and then from this switch, it goes to users as well as it goes to your server storage. So when the setup is big, then you might have a SAN switch for the servers and storage, and otherwise your NAS, otherwise your uh, LAN switches can be installed over there. Okay, so this is what we have. Then as you require more servers, we have your virtualization software, operating systems on that, productivity collaboration tools like your Office, AutoCAD, Adobe, those kind of applications. So you have a ERP working with the CRM. If it's a developer environment, you have the developer environment, your Java, your Pythons, okay, your Jira over there. Infra monitoring tool. So you want to monitor all this server storage. So you have an infra monitoring tool which will monitor all that and ensure that everything is uptime. Okay, all the servers are being utilized properly. Asset management, again, you want to have a tool which will should see what kind of assets you have, what kind of software has been installed in each of your desktop, laptop, servers, so as to have a compliance. Databases software, some people use Microsoft SQL, some are using Oracle, MySQL, MariaDB, MongoDB. So there are various data backup and availability. So this data which has been generated through this application which is there, this needs to be stored. So you already have a storage. Now you want to ensure that particular data is backed up properly. So you go to automatic data backup solutions. Some companies will do it manually, but advise is automatic data backup solutions. So people have those solutions, middleware. Then you need to have physical space where you'll have your data center server room. Electricity, that means basically power which you require for that. So land, power, this is what all is required for your classic IT enterprises, right? This, and then most last but not the least, I would say human capital, right from your physical sentry who's guarding your building to the person who's managing the entire show. Okay, this all is comes into human capital. So what are the challenges that business face? So this is one of the major challenges, which is legacy hardware or infrastructure refresh. What happens is that as the users are increasing, the technology is evolving, new products are coming in to address newer consumer, newer markets. So there are new softwares which are coming. Even if you're talking about ERP or if you're talking about your development softwares, your any kind of CRMs for addressing those customers, new software are coming in and it requires better hardware. So hardware needs to be replaced. So infrastructure refresh is something which comes on and on. You after 3 years you need to refresh, after 5 years you need to refresh, based on what is it that your IT policy, your IT plan. Then license software, again you need to procure license software for newer products, upgrades, updates. You need to ensure that there is a redundancy. or business continuity, so that system doesn't go down, right? Service availability, so all time your service is available. So if suppose you are a e-commerce company, or you're some kind of a company where your products are sold online, and your website is not available, then it will actually lead to loss in revenue. So you need to ensure that your 24 by 7 your service availability is available. And for that matter, for each of the company, even if you don't have to be an e-commerce to have a service availability, your website availability should be there. Any kind of a network, your CRM, billing softwares, right? Those kind of availabilities needs to be there. Data protection is one of the challenges, that a lot of threats, lot of attacks happening in most of the companies, and whatever amount of security measures you are taking, it is possible that your data might not be secure. So this is a worry. We are just talking about worries now, challenges. Unpredictable user growth, very important, because as the scale of the business are rising, consumers are coming in, increasing, the traffic towards your website, traffic towards your e-commerce sites are growing faster, and you have to take care of that. Parallelly, your number of users internally in an organization is also growing, so you have to take care of that as well. The systems needs to be changed. So if today you are a 100 people company, tomorrow 6 months down the line, or 1 year down the line, you go 300 plus. So it's very unpredictable, and you need to ensure that you get the right servers in, you buy a new server. So earlier, last year, you had bought from the perspective of 100 users growth, 150 users growth. Today you're 350 users. So again, the hardware needs to be changed. Confidentiality, I don't have to explain more on this. Compliance, a lot of compliances, SOC compliance, your HIPAA compliance, and different kind of compliances are there. Audit trail, so you should know what has happened. It is necessary for compliance. Multiple data center management, so you have different data centers, you have to manage that. And plus you have hybrid users, work from home users, outside network locations. So these are the basic challenges which IT enterprise is facing. So then what is the benefits of moving to cloud? So basic, one of the major factors is scalability. Cloud allows businesses to scale their resources up and down based on demand by swinging up VMs and vice versa. So it's basically here, when we are talking about, let's say in a classic enterprise, there is a server for your HRMS. There is where you are using running your HRMS. There is a server for your ERP, a server for CRM, physical servers, your Active Directory, your domain controller, right? So there are different servers, and these people do not, these people do not use the servers total resources all the time. There's a peak time for most of them. Finance people would be using in the first half, sales people would be using in marketing sales maybe in the last quarter, right? And maybe HR, it is again in the mid time. So the peak is different. So basically you have to buy hardware based on peaks, right? And that is why, because you then invest in a hardware which is not utilized, the resources not utilized to the maximum. So basically this cloud will allow you to scale up as required, right? So when you have something, sometimes the peak of your purchases from online goes up, right? Then the VMs will be springing up. Availability, again, data availability, which was a concern. Obviously cloud it has offers robust backup and disaster recovery solutions. This ensures that data is securely backed up and can be quickly restored in case of any data loss or disaster. So your data is safe. Why? Because AWS has availability zones in all its region. I think there are around 26 or 27 regions of AWS in the world globally, and there are around uh, 70 or 74 availability zones. So 26 or 28 regions and 72 availability zones. These are the kind of infrastructure which AWS has across the globe. Accessibility, once you're in cloud, you can be accessible from anywhere, provided you are given the access on the applications. So that is another thing where you can work from remote. Security, public cloud providers has built-in security features and specialized cloud security tools to help ensure that an organization's resources are protected. So security patching and all that, which you normally need to do regularly over here, which is taken care of over there. Cost efficiency can reduce capital expenditure on hardware and software. Instead, they can use as, like I told you, that if you buy 2 3 servers for peak performances, right, the cost of that hardware goes high, storage costs are, I mean, going higher. So that is why when you go for cloud, it may reduce capital expenditure based on what you are taking on cloud, what services you are buying. So that also you have to decide. Innovation, tomorrow you're trying to test a new product. Nowadays that artificial intelligence is uh, scaling up so much, machine learning. People, company want to see what the types of how customers have bought products, and they want to use machine learning to identify and form their new strategy for sales and marketing. So cloud platforms would avoid you this. And if you're developing a new product, obviously you don't want to buy hardware and test everything, and then if here it's like uh, innovate faster, fail faster, right? So if you can fail over faster, then you can start up something new, new product even faster. So that is why cloud is important in terms of innovation. Data analytics, again, data size is increasing quite a bit over the years, and data generation softwares are so much, users are high. So data analytics is something which can be done better on clouds. Compliance, customers can take advantage of more than compliance certification in different countries like SOC, HIPAA, ISO, etc. So these are benefits of moving to cloud. I'll now move to cloud services models. So these are some four options, where I did not take you through this, that cloud can be sold as and can be bought as infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So these are the differences between these three and on-premise. So if you see on-premise on the left-hand side, these are all these things which are there already on our in our data center: networking, storage, servers, virtualization, OS, middleware, runtime, data storage, and applications. When you go for infrastructure as a service, the four things which are basic infrastructure, which is your networking, your servers, your storage, and the virtualization, is available on cloud. That means you get a virtual machine. Sometimes the virtual machine also comes with OS. Depends on whether you want to go with Windows OS or Linux OS or something like that. So that also comes into with the VM. So here we get a virtual machine. That means all this four or five is already inbuilt. You just have to now install your middleware, and on top of that your application. The next thing, which is platform as a service, here what happens is that today, now even here you don't have to really install your middleware. You just get a runtime straight away. So you can just test your application or install your run your applications on the platform itself. And software as a service, where you get the application as a service. Example, Salesforce, your M365, those, anything which is just, you just create a user and start using. That is software as a service. So these are three different kinds of cloud models, which is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. I'll move on to, okay, this needs a kind of an explanation, so I'll just go through this a little bit. Like I said earlier, we used to have physical machines, right? Okay, for each and every application you have a server, and the application works on that. As time, as things evolved, new technology came in, we had virtual machines, right? We had, you know likes of VMware, Citrix, Microsoft were virtual solutions. So we started using that. We created VMs and applications. We took a physical server, divided into different virtual machines. As we moved on, then came in Dockers and containers. So Dockers and containers basically is nothing but, you have a container. I mean, even if you look at extreme left, physical machine is a container. On top of that, you are putting an application. When you go into virtual machine, the VM is a container, and the application is installed on that. But here, even for VM, you require, even for you require a server, right? In containerization, what you don't really require, a server, but you will require a VM, right? In which you can create a container and Docker and sorry, container, Docker and container on that. And next, now currently, which what is being offered is serverless. So you don't even have to worry about the containerization. It's just serverless. AWS has a solution which is Lambda, which you can use. So I'll have to move faster a bit because then the demo is going to take time. So I'll just move faster. So why AWS? AWS is like, this is an experience in enterprise leadership, Amazon culture, service breadth and depth. They have around 200 plus services. Pace of innovation is faster. There are a lot of services which are there in AWS. You can go and watch in each and every service, and it's really interesting to know those global footprint, security and privacy, largest partner community, and hybrid cloud capabilities. I have to move faster from here. These are the AWS services. Okay, look at this. Compute is EC2 AWS, which is the virtual machine. Then there is storage, which is S3. Okay, and database, analytics, marketplace, internet of things, machine learning, and AI. So I've just mentioned few. So these are a lot of services which right. So what do we offer? What do we do? Inception solution, we do cloud consultation for you. Okay, understanding a current environment, we can look at all the applications and work with you onto what can go on cloud and what application migration. We can help you on that. Data storage, cloud backup, and DR, very important. People want to, I mean, your data is prime thing which is there, which you need to protect, and we can help you with that. Cloud native applications, we can build applications on cloud for you. File storage migrations, serverless computing, which today's topic, database in cloud, SQL, NoSQL, BI and analytics, machine learning and artificial intelligence. So that's about it from my side. I just wanted to take you through this. I'll now give the console to Mohsin, who would show us what is serverless architecture. Right. Thank you so much. And the questions we'll take after Mohsin completes the session. All right. Or you can put the questions in the chat as well. Thanks a lot. Mohsin, take over.
Thank you, Suhail, sir, for explaining of what is the cloud computing and why it's needed. So I will start like what is the AWS and their services and giving the practical demo on serverless web application. So let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes.
Okay, sir, as sir explained, AWS. So AWS will provide like cloud computing platforms offering the wide range of services. Like cloud AWS Cloud launched in 2006 with only two services. There was just three for storage and EC2 for like virtual machines. And now like it's booming. Like AWS Cloud has offering more than 300 plus services in compute, serverless storage, databases, networking, AI, analytics, and as I explained. So as per today's, I will just focusing on some services, which is simple storage service, which is S3. So what is this? S3 is the designed for the storage of any amount of data, whether it is your log files, whether it is your website, HTML pages, or any type of block size and any log system backup data we can store in that. So how it look like? So here it is. I'm showing uh, that in S3, our database, we can store any type of files like that. Our databases, files, or any backup data, we can use in our data logs file application. Videos we can store in that. Then it will be in the AWS. It will be stored as a bucket. So it in the AWS bucket will be created, and that in that form we can store our data. So it has control access. We can use the access. We can create the IAM users and roles and policies for that who need to access data. We can control that. We can optimize the cost as well as per our data storage need. We can store our data as per their S3 classes. There are the multiple, like more than 7 S3 classes provided by AWS. We can store our data as per our needs. So it will be more helpful for the cost optimization. cost optimization. Then we can replicate or move our data one region to another region very easily. We can access within, we can set a VP like virtual private cloud to our data. We can, so we can access within our company or within our organization. That level of we can do. Then we can protect and secure our data using the log file system and all things. And this is the use case like we can use in the artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning. So these are the classes of the S3. As I said, there is a S3 standard. If we need a frequent access and high availability, we can use S3 standard class. Then there is a S3 intelligent for like it will be do the automatically manage that data between the objects and all things. Then S3 standard IA, that means infrequent access. It will reduce the cost. That means if we need a frequently data but slightly longer retrieval time, so for that we need we can store our data in this S3 standard bucket. Then we have S3 zone 1, S3 glacier. As per the need, as I explained, we can optimize our performance and as well as cost as well in these type of S3 classes. So the main focus will be on the AWS Lambda. So what is the Lambda? It's a serverless, because when we need to deploy our application, we need a server, like whether it is on premises or the virtual machines. So what Lambda does, it's a serverless. That means it has a server but managed by the AWS. We don't need to take care of any like the infrastructure and production, or that thing automatically managed by AWS Lambda. So what is the benefit? As I said, it's no need to manage servers at automatic scaling. What is automatic scaling? Like that, if we have any web application and that run in any specific time period, for example, any registration have some time period. So in that time period, the public like traffic on the web it's high. So as per like if we managing our application in on premises, we have the own servers. But when the large traffic on the application, it we might be like get crashed. We see the messages server is down and all things. So that will be overcome using the AWS Lambda. It will be scale automatically when the users when the traffic or users are high or like increases, and automatically scale down when users gets down. So that is the main advantages, and it offering the pay as you go pricing, like that. When we have to only pay when we are the computing our application for only that period. If we don't use that, we don't need to pay. So these are the benefit performance optimization, like it has more flexibility. And then it's a architecture diagram of the Lambda, how it look like it invokes the API gateway, like if you need the database access. So there is a methods like when we are hitting the API gateway, the Lambda function will get triggered for each and every methods, and the get data from the DynamoDB, or data can be stored in the DynamoDB using the post method. Using put method, we can update the data, or if we want to delete the data, we can use the delete method. And for each and every methods, Lambda function will be get triggered, and it will be giving the access of from the DynamoDB. Okay, so what is the DynamoDB? We will be discussing DynamoDB in this topic, and also we will see the practical demo on this as well. It's like serverless as well and no SQL database. That means it's unstructured but fully managed. Like we can when we creating the DynamoDB database, just we need to give the database name and just one identity with, and rest of the things will be automatically created when we are logging in our application, putting the data, it will be get created automatically. So how its table looks like, this is the DynamoDB has the items and attributes. Item means what type of data, for example, employee ID, name, their company name. This is the items, and what attributes we are showing actual value in that, like ID is 001 or 02. What is the in the item name? We can save any names in that. So that is the attributes. So Amazon API gateway, this is also most important when like we are creating the serverless web application. While deploying, we need to integrate AWS API gateway in the Lambda function. So what it does, so it creating and publishing, monitoring the REST APIs or WebSockets, HTTP request, all things will be take care. We can create the REST API in that HTTP based and stateless client server communication. In the HTTP, what methods we have: get, post, put, patch, and this. So how this is the architecture diagram for the API gateway. So in the user can be whatever, whether it is a desktop or this is web, mobile user, web application, IoT devices, or whether it is private applications which runs within only the organization. So for each and every step, API will get and then it will be integrated with these. We can integrate it with these services. So now today is our we are discussing AWS Lambda. So these are multiple services we can integrate the AWS API gateway. Okay, so now we are seeing the practical demo. So what steps we are doing? We are creating the DynamoDB in a real time in the AWS account. Then we are hosting our website, like web application, in the S3 bucket. Then deploying the Lambda function for backend logic. So we have two Lambda functions for getting the request from the DynamoDB, which shows our data, which displays our data in the web page, and we can save our data. We will create another Lambda function for that, and we will be integrating our API gateway with the Lambda function, and we will see like testing and deploying our web application in real time. So how the diagram flow look like? So we are creating the S3 bucket. We will show our front end page, front end's web page in that. Then when it get when we are hitting the URL, it invokes the API gateway, and then Lambda function will be triggered for displaying the data from the DynamoDB table. Then we are creating the another Lambda function to inserting the data into the DynamoDB table. So this is the architecture diagram of our application. Now we are going to the AWS account and see how it looks like. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Mohsin, before you go to the AWS account, I just wanted to add one thing
sure.
and make people understand what exactly we are trying to do over here. So, what we are trying to do here is basically we are facing a web application, right? And in this web application, we want to just one second. Okay. So what we are trying to do is we want to collect the data, okay, and put it into the DynamoDB. So there is an application which is created on Lambda for that, and the same data will be published to the relevant people who need to see that. Okay. So Mohsin will explain in more detail what does the application do actually. All right. So Mohsin, just go ahead.
Okay, so I will be explaining while creating and showing the demo, so it will be get more clear. Okay, so this is our web application look likes. So it's from my local machine. It's not deployed yet on the server. So when we are entering the data, employee ID, name, company, and designation, when we hitting on the save employee button, it will be data has been saved in the DynamoDB. And when we need to get all data, so we can see what data has been added. So here it is, we can see which ID, name, and company designation will be added. So it will be saving the data into DynamoDB, and we can get the data from DynamoDB. So this application look like this. So we will be deploying this application into the serverless Lambda function. So let's start. Okay, so we need for this performing this serverless web application, we need a AWS account. So this is the AWS account look like. Just we have to search. So we will creating the DynamoDB first. Just we have to search DynamoDB. Here it is. We can just click on that. Okay, so we just need to click on the create table button, and we have to give the name of the data table. So just I am giving employee data inflow. Okay, and the partition key that is a primary key. So just I'm putting as an employee ID. Okay, so the rest of the things I will be leave as by default as it is. Just we have to click on the create table button, so our table will get created. Okay, here it's creating our DynamoDB table. So once we get created, so we have to create the Lambda function for that. So just we have to search for Lambda. Here it is. Just we have to click on that. Okay, so when we are creating, just we have to click on the create a function. So we are creating the Lambda function for that. So for we have to create two Lambda functions for getting the data from the DynamoDB table. So it will be displayed on our web page, and also we have to create another Lambda function for storing the data into the. So just I'm creating the function get employee, and as a runtime I'm selecting the Python because the backend code has been written in the Python, and we have to give the IAM role, roles and policy to access the database DynamoDB from Lambda function. So we are giving the access for the DynamoDB table, and just we have to create a function. Click on that button. So yeah, function gets created, and also our database will get created. So okay, so here it is some by default Lambda function give a by default hello message. So just we need to delete that and put our code in that. So I have stored my backend code here. Just we have to copy that and paste in the Lambda function. Okay. Yeah, so just we are deploying that application. We need to click on the deploy. Okay, so now it's get deployed. Just we have to test. Just I'm creating the event for the simple test name and leaving it by default. So it will be just testing for that. So yeah, it's a empty list has been given because we don't have put any data in that, so it will be given the empty. So for saving the data in that, we are creating another function. So one function is created. So if you want to create another function, just click on this button and just name as insert employee data as a function name. Okay, so as a runtime, I'm selecting the Python 3.4, 3.12, and accessing the data from the. So I'm giving this role for that, and just we need to click on that create function. So another function created. I hope my voice is audible, right? Is this
Yes, yes.
okay? Yeah. So yes, is by default message will be given from the Lambda function. Just we have to delete that and paste our backend code that. So for inserting the database, this code, Python code is here. Just I'm copying that and pasting the in the function. Okay, here is. So just we have to deploy that. Okay, it get deployed. Just we need to test. So we are inserting the data in that. Okay, so just creating the event as a simple test name, And how data will be stored? It will be stored as a key value pair. Like means employee ID is a key and actual value. What is the value? 001. It's a value. A name is a key and actual name. For example, my name Mohsin is the value. So just putting one simple data in that, I have just uh, created this database. Just we have to copy and paste in that. Okay, so just we have to save. Now if we click on the test button, so it will be give successful message. Let's see, here we have employee data have been saved successfully, so it will be saved in the DynamoDB. So it's in the only function we didn't integrated the API for that, so we are integrating the REST API gateway. So click on just search for API gateway in the search bar. It will be giving this service. Click on that, and here is the REST API, the APIs which we can create. So we have to build a REST API for getting the access from Lambda function. So just build on that and create. Just give API name. Any name you can give. Just I'm giving employee because our application is related to employee database. Okay, and we have to select edge optimized. It's already by click the regional, because while selecting the edge optimized, it will be accessible globally. When we just putting as a regional, so it will be accessible only within this region. For example, I am uh, deploying this application in the Mumbai region, which is a South AP one. So if we want to access globally, just we have to select edge optimize and create API. Okay, our API is get created. So in that we have to create the methods for get and post. Get method is for getting the data from the DynamoDB table and displaying on the web page. For that we have to create the get method, and another method we have to create for the post, which will is it's saving the data into the database. So just click on the method, create method, and select the get. Here we have to select our Lambda function we have created right just few minutes back. So here it our Lambda function, we have to select get employee, and just we have to click on create method button. Okay, so our get method is created. We have to create another method. So create method, click on the create method button and select post. So it will be this method will save the data in the DynamoDB. Okay, for that we have created the Lambda function insert employee data. So just click on that and create. Okay, now yeah, our API is get created, and we have to deploy this API. So just we have to enable the course get and post, so it will be allowed to access. Just we have to save and need to deploy this API. Okay, so click on deployment, deploy API. So which stage we are deploying? Just select the new stage and it's a production. Just I'm giving the prod stage name and click on the deploy. So it will be give a URL, URL. So this HTTP will be, when we are clicking on this save employee button and get employee button, this API will be invoke, and according to which method is for get method or a post method, Lambda function will get triggered for that and use the access for from the DynamoDB. So just we have to copy that and paste in our the front end part, which is the JavaScript. Just we have to paste in here. I'm saving that. Okay, so this is our front end part. So we have to store this front end S3 bucket. So we are creating the S3. click on the S3 and we have to click on the create button. Okay, so bucket name should, we can give any bucket name, it should be unique, it's a globally unique. So and just we have to give a bucket name in the lowercase only, uppercase will not be accepted for that. So just giving the bucket name as AWS Light Demo or 18 July, so it will be creating as a unique. Okay, so and I'm giving the public access for that. It's currently it's blocking the public access. So when we are giving the public access, so it will be accessible to anyone. Okay, but rest of the things I am putting as a by default. Just we have to create, click on this bucket button, create bucket. Okay, now our bucket is get created. So we can store our static web for HTML page and JavaScript page. We can upload here. Just click on the upload button, and we can drag and drop easily. Also, we can add files folders. So, or two files we need to add. So, just we am selecting the index.html and JavaScript. Okay, so here it's added. Just upload. Click on the upload button. Yeah, it's uploaded successfully. We can see the message. Just close. Now we the our S3 bucket has been created and we stored our static web page in that. So we have to enable our static web hosting. So for that, now it's disabled. Like we can see that web hosting is the disabled. So edit, click on the edit button and just enable. Okay, so and give the our in first page is index.html front end page. We have to give the name, rest of the things as by default, just save changes. Now we have we have given the static web hosting is enabled button. So here it is URL for our web application. So so what happens if I click on this? So it will be it will be open the new browser and show our application. Before that, we need to create a policy for that. When I clicking on this, it will be showing the access denied message. Let's see. Yes. So access denied. Why it's error showing? Because we haven't give the policy for that. So just we need to go to the permissions here, and we have to create the bucket policy to access from anywhere. So if we don't know how to create the policy, so just we have to click on this button edit and generate the policy. So AWS will be generating policy like it's simple. The GUI, just we have to click on that. So what policy we are creating? The S3 bucket policy we are creating. So click on this. The principal is the star. Star is allowing everything. So I'm putting as a star and select the method get object. So it will be getting any object like whatever entry we are doing, it will be getting access for that. So just select get object, and here we have to paste ARN. What is the ARN? It's the Amazon resource name. So S3 is a resource for every, like when we are creating the Lambda function, S3, so there is a ARN will be created automatically. This is the Amazon resource name as Amazon S3 and our bucket name. So we have to paste in that. Okay, add statement, and here click on the generate policy. So here the policy gets created, the fresh policy we get it. So we have just copy that policy. It's in the JSON format. Just we have to paste it in that. So here is our bucket name ARN. So just we have to give the star as /star. So it will be allowing everything. Just click on the save changes button. So now our web application is ready. So we can see, we can enter any data in that, and let's see how it's look like. This is the URL. Let's see this. Now our web serverless web application is deployed. We do not need any server, any virtual machines. Just we have created on the Lambda functions. So do you remember when I creating the Lambda function, I have entered one data in that, employee ID and my name. So let's see, we can see this data. Click on this button. Yeah. Now this data will be shown. So we can enter any data. Like for example, the employee ID is 2, name is Sohail, and company is the Inception, and designation is the CEO. So just we have to click on the save button. Now our employee has been saved. So just we need to this click on this button, we can see the new data is added. Let's see. Here it is. And this data actually added in the DynamoDB table. Let's see in DynamoDB. Here is our table. Just click on the explore item buttons. Here click on our table name. Let's see. Yes, here it's added the ID in company name, designation, and name. So how it looks like. So it's a three-tier web application which we deployed on the serverless. So I hope this will make clear. If you have any doubts, you can ask or you can put on the chat. So we can connect one on one. So let me
So
start.
thanks, Mohsin. I think just to brief you on what exactly we showed over here. Okay, basically, when you're talking about a web application can be anything. It can be your maybe it can be your let's say new employees joined and they need to take certain kind of trainings or something like that, and they compliance trainings you would say, and they take that training and then they just say when it gets triggered and Lambda function is invoked and the data what you want to collect is collected and given to the particular HR manager that okay this guy is a completed this training, so you don't have to go for a virtual machine for that. Or if you say you want any other application where you want to see footfalls of people onto your website and you want to collect certain attributes of that and put a Lambda function that if this person does this then I want to have the data of that. Similarly, a lot of things can be achieved just through Lambda function. You don't have to create a virtual machine for that, or use a server or a desktop for that, because the cloud offers unlimited possibilities. And with the Lambda function, you can, you know, uh, what would you say?